Hello. It feels like it's time for a little open TTD. So let's have a look at this West Country map. So I have a feeling. Let's have a look at these bus stations. Oh dear. Oh dear. This is all going wrong. They should look. So most of the cargo dis network's not too bad, but these Bristol bus stations are getting a little bit overloaded. So let's have some more buses. I can't find my depot. Where is my depot as opposed to all of these AI companies' depots? I'll just build one on the M32. That will do. That'll be fine. Let's add more buses. Many more buses. We've got millions to throw at bus networks, so I could do that. And those should be getting it. Oh yes, Bristol Central. I had a plan with this. What was my plan with Bristol Central? Gosh, let me see what it was. Well, apparently in true Tibbles, I have checked my copious notes, which didn't really exist, and I had no real plan. So let's see. Let's start connecting this up. So we could go via Bath. Let's take a Bath. I could have a sort of nice station around here. Let's put a little bit up there. 5x2, 4x2, who knows? There, they have. That's not. I don't have any road vehicles going over there, so I don't have to care. There, if buses get destroyed, they get destroyed. Sometimes it just happens. Should we go? Yes. Let's go up to via Swindon. Sort of, where we have decided that Hondas are indeed made. The factory's a little bit in the way here. That's no problem. There we go. That's Swindon Station going around there like that. That's definitely not how the real thing works. The real thing, by the way, if you go through, is it's an absolute pain to find because Swindon is a local authority. They have this wonderful thing that the local authorities occasionally do, which is they will signpost the station. And as you come into the town, you think, oh, excellent, yay, signposted. And then, of course, you have to go over the magic roundabout, the sort of big thing, which is just multiple roundabouts glued together. And that's all fine, except for that's sort of, it is possible to end up not coming off the right exit on that, if you're not so used to it. And the problem is that Swindon Station is kind of, it's buried quite in the middle of town. It's sort of next to a shopping centre and things like that. And it has lots of kind of weird one-way systems around it. But they have worsened that immeasurably by being one of these local authorities that as soon as you get off the official route to the station from outside of Swindon, there are zero signposts for it. Absolutely. There's no signposting at all. It's basically as if we've done our best to try to hide the station from you. So it becomes this. I had suffered worse, which is my car. It does have satellite navigation, but it was trying to navigate to the back side of the station, which is not useful if you're trying to pick up people. So we're going to make sure that there's lots of signs to the station. Yeah, we're going to signpost that well. And then yes, let's make sure we have to. Right, there we go. Should make sure we've got some more signposts. There we go. So, plenty of signposts. So Swindon here will not have that problem, that it is absolutely impossible to find. So we need some more stations. This, I think we could have a little branch line, just to make cargo discs worse. And make cargo dist hate us even more. Let's go up there. And let's do that. Yes. So other than my directionally challenged adventures in Swindon, another thing that was on my mind lately, which is from a comment a while ago, but it's sort of come up again, which was of various television programs, that favourite topic. I was reminded of one of the clearly the greats, which was Bodger and Badger. That's even having the complete earworm of a theme song. I'm not going to subject you to it. If you can get enough about me singing about dinosaurs in my roller coaster tycoon videos to be subjected to bad renditions of the Bodger and Badger theme tune. But yes, the very classics, very much that 80s TV show premise, which is that the hapless Simon Bodger is trying to live some semblance of a normal life, and it is consistently inhibited in this by his pet Badger, which is an extremely disruptive influence. Spends most of his time throwing around mashed potato. I was going to do one of my rants. Basically, this is basically there is no one to blame here other than Bodger himself, who insists on keeping a wild animal in his flat and then allowing it basically unfettered access to either cooked mashed potato or the raw ingredients with which mashed potato can be made, i.e. potatoes and or up to 3 or so other optional ingredients such as butter and milk and salt and pepper and things like that. But I would be being unfair. So that would be the sort of the classic series, which has some sort of angry landlady and keeps getting into scrapes. Right, let's do SH125. Let's change those to be all passengers. Ooh, you charge to refit trains in it. But actually, no, those later series. The earlier series actually had settings which explained Badger's unfettered access to mashed potato, the sort of cooked mashed potato to throw about and to be generally disruptive with, and which is they were set in originally a cafe, and then a school, and obviously a cafe is going to have potentially large quantities of mashed potato available for some Badger to come along and be disruptive with. Swindon, what's that? I think Stratford-upon-Avon is the end of the line. So, and indeed, a school would have a cafeteria, and the school very much on the mashed potatoes. So, that you can't really complain about. But the access to mashed potato level there, when it became Bodger's own flat, that's the point where you're going like this. This is your own fault at this point. Basically, you have a wild animal, and you're just leaving cooked mashed potato about the place. So, anything that happens from there, you only have yourself to blame for that. Yeah. But yes. Couldn't do any other simply to the no slacking guy from the Chuckle Brothers. So there's no show which and I do have an international audience, and I probably it's kind of difficult to explain this if you haven't seen this. This is kind of entertainment. But yes, the Chuckle Brothers or Chuckle Vision was based around two rather hapless and inept brothers who would be given some task to do, and they would do it ineptly, and then comedy would ensue because they sort of lost someone's small dog and tried to replace it with a parrot with a pillow taped to it or something. That typical sort of thing. The kind of thing I imagine if you watch it now, you just scream at the television going, why can't you do it properly? But there's that as well has to be that they have a boss who shows them into work. Why doesn't just sort of sack them and go, you're not very good. You should not be employed. But yes, they have a character. Their character is actually called No Slacking because that is his catchphrase. He often tells them, don't slack. It's obviously saying they should use Microsoft Teams instead. Ha ha. Yes, told them no slacking. But if you watch the program, it's like slacking is not the problem. In fact, the world would be far better if they did slack, if they did sort of just goof off and go, no, we're not going to try to do the task. We're just inept at it anyway. So no, the problem is basically is that no slacking is an awful manager. And in that they basically give these preppers a task, tells them no slacking, which is not a problem they have anyway. They don't slack, they're just rubbish at it. Whereas what you should actually say is, I'm going to give you the task, and I'm going to explain it now, and then I'm going to come back in a couple of minutes and make sure that you're following the instructions the way I expect. Oh, this has got a bit of a close signal distance. Oh, I've been using the signal distance that I use for science. That's why that's gone wrong. There's sort of a Chuckle Brother level of ineptitude. Well, I'll leave that there. It's fine. This will horrify people because this is genuinely a thing that you shouldn't do with signaling. It's change your signal distances because then it becomes very uneven, and trains will end up waiting in places where they shouldn't. Yes, that's what he should. He should be a good manager. He should be aware that his staff do not follow instructions well. They forget things. They go off on their own tangents, and it doesn't work out well. And he should come back and he should check in. He should not just tell them off for slacking, which they do anyway. Something else, random trivia, which I mention a lot, so you may have seen me write this elsewhere or say this. No slacking is actually in and of himself a Chuckle Brother. There are many. There's sort of a very large showbiz family, so it's actually, just that's probably why. In fact, the titular Chuckle Brothers, the ones who are actually identified as Chuckles in the series, are inept at low-level tasks, but they're managed by someone who's just completely inept at management. So, check up on your employees, make sure that they understand the task, mentor them, follow, and give them chance to learn and make mistakes, but still don't just abandon them like that until you find they've sort of painted someone's beloved parrot red and given it to, I don't know, postman pretending it's a van or... And probably really shouldn't talk about these things that I don't remember all that well. Probably someone's going to come back to me and they went, oh, no, you're missing sort of the classic Series 6 of Bodger and Badger. In fact, went into great detail of the mechanisms by which Badger obtains mashed potato and by which Bodger is unable to prevent this. How are these trains doing? This timetable. So let's stop wildly stepping at these things with the mouse and let's do that. 30 days to get to there. Doesn't seem right. No, that isn't right. It should be more like 12. No, not 3012. That would be a very bad timetable. So we're going to timetable these up relatively quickly. So it's going to be that goes to Stratford. So that one I'm going to give it a little bit more time there. So that's going to be 12. That one is going to be 12. And then Swindon's going to be 12. No, Swindon's not going to be 12, so that's going to be 10. And that one is going to be 14. And set the start dates. And so they all should spread out. 1985. No, good, that's a Bowling for Soup song or something. And I know there's a song called 1985, which just if you play it will be in your head forever. You cannot avoid it after that point. Yes. So let's build more passenger network. Let's make this really bad with cargo dist, and then when it's really bad, we can come back and fix it. Through Strood. And then Nailsworth. Let's build up on the hill at Nailsworth as well, so let's build that around there. So, and that's going to need to come across there. And then that's going to need to come across there. This is probably going to be some tree destruction. No, I can do that without destroying too many trees. That's fine. And there we go. This is going to be sort of a branch line off here. And this is... yes, and in fact we can have a station in Chipping Sodbury. That's very important to have. Although it's a bit of an extreme bridge for a branch line. It's a branch line built by someone who really liked engineering. In fact, I say, this is the West Country, so it would have been could feasibly have been built by some part of Kingdom Brunel. Well, naturally, yes, someone who loved engineering, especially engineering really big things. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit wibbly and wobbly. So this is very sort of branch line-ish. It wibbles and wobbles around. So the shipping story, let's call that Microprose Central. That takes employees of Microprose to all of their favourite pubs or clubs. Actually, I think when I've looked these up, they're not pubs. They're actually clubbing establishments. Let's remove that motorway so we can build a railway station. This is the public transport future you were promised. Well, except in the 80s, where roads were the public future the transport strategy we were promised. And this is the 80s. Okay, this is. I apologise for the historically inaccurate nature of my OpenTCD game. I wonder if the AI is going to use that. That's a bit of a misclick. They're going to build that down here. Yes, we could just bring this out at sort of Bristol Central. We could have another station at the edge of Bristol. Probably be good if Bristol could sort of stop expanding, becoming a sort of giant, creeping hellscape, expanding over the West Country. There's probably people who live in Bristol who probably would not like me describing it as a creeping hellscape. It's actually a very nice, attractive city. It's very nice, the harbour and that are pleasant. It is horrific to drive around the centre. It is one of those, oh God, why is there traffic everywhere? The type cities, but there's no stretch to that. I mean, any sort of Bristolians could point out that as I am kind of, I don't want to say I'm off there, since I'm London based, I can't really say anything about city centres which are slightly painful to drive in. Okay. And the risk of turning this into Timberwolf's city centre traffic review. And so London is not, it's not too bad until you get really into properly kind of central, but not sort of congestion charge central, but into that sort of area just around the edges of that, where there's huge amounts of sort of, tourist traffic and people round and all of that, and loads and loads of cars. But the roads are ways, sort of, they're too narrow for it. So I think how far I need to bring this out to make this junction nice. Let's see if we can mess with the signal gap there. There we go, that worked. Yes, but largely like, outer London and there's sort of even some of the eastern bits, there's deep because there's quite a lot of things got bombed. And then therefore were cleared. So this is fairly good with sort of, dual carriageways and things and to help you get about. The traffic's really not that bad. And also because, everybody actually uses the public transport. So there's not loads of cars. If you go south, actually, if you go to South London, then it gets like, oh my word. Why has this traffic jam? It's been here for like months. There's people who've just, being charged council tax now. In it, but that's because there's less transport. So in terms of sort of there's rail, but there's not the sort of kind of you just turn up and go things like the underground as much. It's a lot more kind of based around buses and things and trains where you actually have to know timetables, bits like that. So more people use cars, and so therefore it gets incredibly busy. There's cars everywhere, and they're not moving because there's only so many you can fit in. Sort of a small city road. Anyway, if you wish to keep watching for more insightful things from Timberwolf's traffic review, please feel free to do so. should tie this back. We should go like 1815 start. We used to say, this basically going to tie this all back to the clever story. And that's actually the reason that South London traffic is so bad is the amount of mashed potato related disruption caused by people who keep wild animals as pets. Oh yes, that was a thing as well. That the badger was one of those characters who was given a sort of distinctly sort of London accent. I think sort of slightly swapping between south and east. I didn't really notice it as a child, but then they probably don't notice so much that this characters on TV basically speak the way that people speak. Apparently yes. So traffic in South London is bad because someone's wild badger, which they are keeping in their flat for reasons unknown, keeps spreading mashed potato about the roads, and it causes the kind of problems that you'd expect. This timetabling is not working out, is it? It never works out. That's why we just don't ever transport passengers. This way you sort of leave them to use their cars and really huge traffic jams. And leave the railways just for freight. That's how transport tycoon works. All these station sites. Right, okay, so let's see how this affects the cargo disk graph. Dear. I can actually see what's going on. Bristol is just... Okay, Bristol is overloaded. This branch line is now overloaded. Cargo disk has happened to us. These ones. So I need more of these. Let's get some of those going. Am I even making money off passengers? This is me throwing money after. No, it's actually not too bad. They've got lots of ungrouped trains, so. This with Bristol Stratford Express. There, that's the HSDs, and then we have the Bristol branch. Oh no, this is the Microprose branch. This is very important that we signify that this is related to Microprose. Okay. Those timetables yet. I've been patient for timetabling to have happened. Those are HSDs. Those are not. Okay, so that's doing a stuff. It seems to be picking up passengers, so I shouldn't assume it's not the first train to do that stuff. It should not take 39 days to... Oh dear. That's all going wrong, isn't it? Let's have an extra platform at Cheltenham. There you go. Just signals on the exit. That's all that's actually needed there. Come on, trains. Do your thing. This isn't too bad. This actually looks quite nice. The trains at different levels, beetling about. Yes, say it. Those sort of bed in, but I think I like it. I think that's a nice place to sort of leave things. There we go. We've got a sort of branch line going. We've got Bristol fast turning into a disaster. Oh, one more thing I should do. Yeah, is just put in another bus station at Bristol. So. And then build another depot. Ooh, the Volvo bus. Sorry, Foster bus. Let me be. Let's say Bristol Central. Let's just going to go to Bristol Sidings and then back to Bristol Central. And then I'm going to replace those. Replace those left with Foster buses. Which, of course, I always know them as the Volvo bus because it was the Volvo bus in Transport Tycoon. There's only changed to the Simon Foster. Yes, named after the artist who drew all of these things. Since these are all Simon Foster's original artwork. It's worked a long time with Chris Sawyer as well because he did all the roller coaster Tycoon artwork as well. But there we go. And so now our little sort of troop of buses are heading out, I think that's a nice place to leave things, and I shall see you for a future episode, hopefully unmolested by potato welding badgers. But until then, I shall see you in a future video.